Right, so today I want to do a video on the CCFR. And if you don't know who they are, it's the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. And I kind of want to do it part and parcel to the YouTube series and part and parcel to the just letting people know what is the premier Canadian firearms rights organization. If you want to compare them to the NRA, I mean, I wouldn't compare them to the NRA. They're kind of similar, but they're kind of not. Um, and that the main point I wanted to make is that in Canada we don't really have a lot of gun rights, at least compared to the U.S. And at least compared to the U.S., we don't really have a lot of firearms rights, right? At least compared to the U.S., like I said. So if you want to get more firearms rights and you're a firearms owner in Canada, well, the only way to do it, number one, is word of mouth, and number two is to help fund people who are fighting for firearms rights. And the CCFR, in my mind, is the best organization in Canada that does it. I can't even really think of another one off the top of my head. I'm sure there's other ones that exist, but the CCFR, I believe they have 3 or 4 full-time staff members now, and that's again they're all through donations. So one of them, I believe, is a researcher who basically all they do is they look into these BS gun control studies that the left does and debunks them and whatnot, and does again looks into research that to prove firearms rights and firearms owners are not these villains and gun control doesn't work, all that kind of stuff. And nowadays, if you want something, you have to put your money where your mouth is. Again, like, 'cause the left is spending a lot of money on this. Like, the left spends tons of money on propaganda. The mainstream media is getting $600 million a year in Canada now, and like I said, if you really believe in something, you got to put your money where your mouth is, even if it's just like $20 a year, or $1 a month, whatever you want to do. Just do something, because in Canada we're not very far off guns being pretty well completely banned. I mean, we do already have a registry for all handguns and most semi-automatics. So again, if you who have and not only that, even if you legally own non-restricted firearms, which there is some semi-automatics in there that would be fairly effective in a doomsday scenario, whatever you want to call it, they still have your PAL, which has your address on it, and if it's not your current address, then technically that's illegal, so they could go after you for that. So either way, they basically have a gun registry. Either they know where all the quote unquote dangerous guns are at, or the scary guns are at, and if you don't have the scary guns or the guns that they want to go after, they still know who has the guns in most cases. Now, they don't know where all the gang members' guns and all that are. They don't really care about those. They only care about the law-abiding citizens, because those are the kind of people they actually care about going after, for whatever reason you want to call it, whether it's just, ignorance or bliss, whatever you want to call it. I think it's more of a, they want big government, and gun ownership stands in the way of big government, so it's kind of a the most basic way of putting it. But long story short, if you care about firearms rights in Canada, if you care about any right, if you care about anything, basically, you need to put your money where your mouth is. And at the very least, if you're on a really tight budget, you don't got the money, you're a student or whatever, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, watch the videos, share their stuff, follow them on all the social media platforms, because I mean that's still doing better than nothing, right? That's giving them viewership, that's giving them exposure, all that kind of stuff. So at the very least, you have to share, like, subscribe, all these kind of things. And the majority of people aren't gonna agree with you, aren't gonna care. But there's that even if you can just get one person to get their mind changed, or whatever you want to call it, then that's all it needs. So that's about all as far as this video goes. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.